What's up, fam? TC here. Y'all know by now that there's a cop in Baltimore, Maryland, who is in trouble for beating up this brother uh, on the steps in the front of, I think it's a bar they were in front of. But anyway, he didn't have any probable cause or anything. He just walked up to the brother, him and his partner. They started harassing the dude, doing what cops do. And the guy gave him a little pushback, not literally, but, uh, the cop then started punching dude all in the face, and he beat him down, put him in the hospital. The video is all over YouTube, and it's easy enough to find. The thing is, some people seem a little bit surprised because the cop that did this was black. And, they seem to think that just because the cops were black, that A, this isn't racism, and B, this shouldn't have happened, or or they don't understand why this happened. Well, first, black people are sometimes more racist toward their own people than white people are. And second, just because the cop was black is no reason for the cop to be any less brutal towards the citizenry, especially if the citizen is a black one. I mean, check it out. People tend to forget, right, that back during slavery, the slave master used to use a lot of black overseers. Black overseers were harder on the slaves sometimes than the white overseers. Just like black cops, a lot of times, are much bigger assholes towards black people than white cops are. They feel like they got something to prove. They feel like they got to prove their loyalty to the white man, and they feel like they got to prove their loyalty to the blue uniform. So they go overboard with the fucking brutality and the assholishness. Back where I used to live, I used to know a couple of black cops that acted just like that. They went all out to prove that they weren't siding with the niggas in the black community. A lot of times, especially when they first started hiring black cops weren't allowed to fuck with white people. So they took all of their anger and shit out on black people. A lot of black cops have a lot of self-hate inside them. So they feel like they're going to take it out on anybody who looks like them. A lot of times black cops are some really fucked up individuals, let me tell you. Getting back to what I was saying about slavery and during that era, I'm sure everybody knows that when black people were planning their slave revolts and insurrections, more often than not, they were squealed on or ratted out by an informant within their own community. And that informant a lot of times turned out to be the overseer or a trustee or a coach driver or a house nigga or somebody who came, within close proximity of the white people, who was getting some special fucking favors from the white people. Better food, better housing, better treatment, whatever. He wanted to keep that shit. So anytime black people start talking about, let's run, let's do an uprising, let's do this, let's do that, it was that nigga that went and told the white people. And those niggas was rewarded with special favors. They had something called meritorious manumission. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about that. That's where if you tell on a black person or you turn in a black person who's doing a slave revolt or any number of offenses, you rat out a black person, it could lead to the possibility of you winning your freedom. Meritorious manumission. And a lot of times that's the way some of these black cops feel. I say some. That's the way some of these black cops feel. They feel like if they come down hard on the black people in the community, till they look better in the eyes of the white cops. Now, the cop in Baltimore, he got suspended with pay, but this morning when I was on my way to work, I heard that he resigned. Yeah, he resigned. I'm not sure if he resigned or whether he was fired, but he's no longer on the force. But that doesn't mean that he won't be hired or picked up by a sheriff's department somewhere or another police department in a town outside of Baltimore or some shit like that. Because that's what they do. And the thing is, between the corrupt black cops and the white supremacist white cops and the coons and the infighting among the so-called black community, the black conscious community, I say so-called, but I myself am a part of that community. Between all of that stuff, it seems like we fighting a losing battle. It really would. A motherfucker could get discouraged really easy and just throw his hands up and say, fuck it, I'm just going to, go ahead and retire and buy me a house somewhere in a secluded area and just hunker down and watch out for me and my family. But you can't, in good conscience, do that. You got to speak out on this shit. That's why I come on and I make videos. But what we need to do is, as black people, is we need to start worrying about, or at least not devote so much mental energy to trying to understand why sellouts do what they do and why racists do what they do. We already know why. We already know why sellouts sell out. We already know why coons coon. We already know the answers to these questions. The questions we don't have answers to is how we're going to move forward. What we're going to do to ensure our survival and for the next 100 years. And my thing is, what we need to be doing is focusing our energy on building an economic power base. Because I really don't see us doing it politically. Right? I really don't see us doing it through representative government. Right? Government part of the problem. Unless we can change the people who govern us. And when I say change it, do that by voting, I get it. But when I say change it, I mean we really got to hold them seriously accountable. And if they're not up there talking about what they're going to do for black people, like Claude Anderson and Phil from the Advice Show and Professor Black Truth and all the rest of them say, unless we can get them to talk specifics, well then we can't go that route either. We got to form our own political party. But if we're going to function within the Democratic and or the Republican and or the Independent party, we got to hold these politicians feet to the fire, which is something that we didn't do with Mulatto Obama. I mean, when Dr. Cornel West and Tavis Smiley tried to do that, they became persona non grata. But it turns out they had the right idea. Because that cop in Baltimore, Barack Obama is just a fucking extension of him. He really is. So we need to hold politicians accountable and make them make concrete promises to us. And then when they don't hold us to those promises, when they don't fulfill those promises, be all up in their face about it. But in the meantime, we need to be solidifying our power base, controlling our economics, stiffening our spine, right? And purging our communities. Getting rid of these coons, these thugs and gangsters, these so-called thugs and gangsters like I said in my last video, I ain't so sure that they even the problem. If they're there at all. If they're there at all. And I know that there's some knuckleheads out there. I'm not motherfucking slow. I know there's some knuckleheads out there. But I do know also that they ain't as big a problem as white people making them out to be. They just easy to blame shit on. But the ones that are there, we need to go ahead and purge them motherfuckers too. A lot of what they do, though, is driven by economics. Because they got families to feed. And they're hustling for territory. They're hustling trying to make money so that they can feed their families. But that's another topic. But we need to deal with that part of it too. All of these, and there's some goddamn stupid ass hood rats out there too. If we can't wake them up, then we need to eject their ass. If we can't wake them up and get them to understand that don't nobody give a flying fuck about them except us, then we need to get rid of them. Stay the fuck out the goddamn Chinese nail shop if it's a sister doing the same shit right down the street. Stay the fuck out the Arab corner store if it's a brother doing the same shit right down the fucking street. Don't even talk to the fucking police. Don't talk to them. Stand fucking mute if you have to. Getting in their face, arguing with them, they're going to whoop your motherfucking ass. And nine times out of 10, they're going to walk. Because for every cop that gets caught on video beating somebody the fuck up, it's probably 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 that's kicking ass and taking names and ain't nobody seeing it. It's crooked DAs out there. It's crooked lab technicians out there. It's rednecks and motherfucking Klansmen out there in uniform. All feeding off the fucking black community. We need to go ahead on and stop, studying and wondering why they do it and wasting all our energy fighting each other and start unifying. Have us a fucking meeting somewhere and figure out how we're going to go forward with the things I just mentioned. That's what we need to be trying to do. And like Professor Black Truth said, we need our own motherfucking CIA. Right? We need our own CIA. So we can covertly take care of business in our own special way. Now, I ain't calling for nobody to go out there and do nothing violent. I ain't calling for nobody to go out there and do nothing to nobody. But we need to take care of business our own fucking way. Now, you can take that whichever way you want to take it. But I'm old school. That's what needs to happen. In the meantime, stop wasting your energy wondering why these motherfuckers do what they do. Just know that that's how they are. Just know that that's how they operate. And refocus our energy on betterment of ourselves. All right? The cop that, just mention this before I go. The cop that beat that brother up, he needs to burn in hell. The cop that was standing there watching him, he's just as bad. He just as fucked up because he didn't do anything to stop it. So when people say, ain't no good cops, that's what the fuck they mean. Anyway, that's it for now, all right? Go ahead and, if you don't mind, subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up button, put a comment below, and I'll see y'all on the next one. TC, and I'm out.